Welcome back, folks. This is Par 73, bringing you the Myth World Cup 1999 casts. 15 years, a little too late. But it's a pleasure to watch these films and hopefully provide the opportunity for some of these players to relive their moments of glory on the battlefield. Today we have Civil Order versus Men of Rohan. Two orders who started at the beginning of time on Bungie.net pretty much became legendary throughout the years on Bungie.net. Both of those orders, their order passwords being used maybe up to 13 years after the orders actually closed their doors and played their last couple of games of Myth together. Interesting little feat there. And there was also a scoring problem in the first game. I reported the wrong score, so we'll get to that after I introduce the teams. This game we have a 7-on-7. It's Men of Rohan's McManus captaining. Rohan stepping down to heavy hit. It looks like he's got 32%. He's joined with Skeletor, Bishop, Gandalf, Monte 6, and Toast. And over in the East, Civil Order, who won that first game. I reported it was 15-8. The scoring was actually 16-8 because you also get a point per 10% destroyed, and Civil Order did just that. So Civil Order has an 8-point lead. This game, once again, they are led by Ananab Topes. Joining him is Roner, Stinger, Bizargoth, Fod, Mr. Sweetie, and El Destructo. Last game, Mr. Sweetie was not present. We'll have to see if he can throw some flavor into the game here. The game is Desert Between Your Ears, flag rally, and the teams head off to secure early flags and see which team will be forced to push and which team will be forced to defend. No journeyman for either team, so don't expect any pussing. However, in the south, more have a white to be sunk. It looks like there is also a white for Civil mid. Interesting to see this white just hanging out mid. If Men of Rohan had some goals up here, it could be disastrous. They're definitely going to see it sunk as Men of Rohan players call it out. Ruiners saying middle is not happening. More go to counter the white with a thrall. We'll have to see if Stinger locks onto that thrall and protect that white. So Men of Rohan's white still has yet to leave the spawn point. Skeletor looking to match up with El Destructo in the south. Looks like Fod will be coming to support him as Ruiner has moved from the mid to the north. He is joined by Visigoth in the north, matching up with McManus. And it looks like Rohan was thinking about sending his archers north. He's keeping at least some of his archers focused on the white. So it looks like Rohan's their main archer player mid here. All the archers mid are going to him. He had some archers autoing on that white. I wonder why he stopped them. And it looks like Toast has left the game and crashed. He was also having connection problems in game 1. Unfortunate. And Ananap's calling a rush on the middle. As Fod has moved in to rush the south. El Destructo put his goals into action, losing most of them. He still has one left. As Fod comes in to clean up the remaining units. A nice shot by LD. Is almost going to take Fod's warrior out. We'll get rid of their opponent's warrior. I believe it's Skeletor. It looks like Stinger and Rohan are facing off in the mid. They both lost an archer each so far, but we got Ruiner coming in from the north. Has McManus also has a gold pack coming from the north. He's gonna face off with Mr. Sweetie. It looks like they will back off. Gandalf's dwarf also keeping Ruiner at bay here, and El Destructo is gonna come and clean up this flag. Skeletor might opt to move his warriors away here. They're all still pretty green. No reason to throw them away out of spite.
Flag captured.
But Sybil gonna clear that flag off pretty quickly. Skeletor is gonna run his warriors right away. It's interesting because now most people they'll have a nice spread archer formation. Stinger has a pretty tight one, as well as Rohan. And I don't know, sometimes I use a similar formation myself, a short formation. I believe it's like number 1. And I keep it nice and shortly spaced. It can hold 10 archers rather than the 8 you see here. And while they do sometimes shoot into each other's back, type formation does help get off a precise volley of arrows, although you are susceptible to getting shot. And it looks like El Destructo and Fod are going to make their way around behind Men of Rohan's mid. And I completely missed Ruiner cleaning up this north flag up here. While I talk about stupid things like formations, Ruiner, the guy that actually taught me how to use formations as well as presets. Although I was, of course, too stubborn to listen to him at the time. And Ruiner's not going to opt for ratios there. He's just going to keep on trucking away. Visigoth's goals are coming to support, as Sybil's pressure on the remaining flag to be captured is heating up here. Sybil's up about 20% with a 2-flag advantage. Visigoth going straight for the artillery with his goals. Pretty much a light form of cavalry in Myth, and he's going to have them focus with a shift click on that dwarf and take it out. Nicely played, Visigoth. That's going to allow Ruiner to clean up here for the most part. Although his warriors are down in health. does seem to have the advantage, although he does have a Ghost Walker. And the vets are wild here. We got a 5-kill vet facing off, just putting in the work. McManus's archer is gonna take one more of those warriors out, just not in time. And quite the fight up in the north. And there's some reinforcements. Civil should be able to hold that, a dwarf against an archer, equal amount of warriors. Stinger's low on archers though. The flanks for Civil need to push and assist him a little bit more effectively. Although Civil does have about a 12-point lead right now, I'm sure they would be comfortable with that. And El Destructo's dwarf will go down here. Percent's getting tighter. Civil has a 15% advantage at the moment. At 1 minute, Civil's gonna make the call to push mid. It looks like Runer might just rush this archer, but one of his warriors is awfully low now. Fod's calling Ananep Tilps to shadow these wars. I mean, these wars look like they'll be pushing. He's pretty much just baiting them away from the defense of this final flag. Civil definitely has enough defense down there to win a melee fight. And it looks like the battle is going wild. Runer calls an ouch. He lost the melee fight, but his dwarf comes into play. There's only 2 low health warriors left, and more preying on the RNG gods, but it's not going to matter, as that warrior goes down with 1 minute left. We can check out the action mid here as Civil looks to attempt to secure this final flag. Stinger's archer is getting aggressive here, and his dwarf is going into play. Rohan's going to target it pretty quickly. Stinger now dodging with his dwarf. It will go down. Fod is in the backfield. He's going to be able to take out the Moor dwarf, and Moor is in trouble here. Rohan just AFK with his warriors, while his arch is getting picked off by Stinger and Mr. Sweetie. And Fod and LD looking to hold on to the flag here for a contest. I think Civil has secured that, folks. Men of Rohan just doesn't have enough south to take that flag. And there's not even unit health showing up on that warrior, as I was using the 1.8.1 beta and the moment. And it also looked like it shrunk the warrior model as well. Interesting stuff. As these games were played on 1.3.1, I missed the epic suicide right there. Oh, the Civil Dwarf, and it looks like Stinger will secure this one. McManus just calling, saying, let's wrap this up. And that will do it, folks. Civil takes game 2. They get 4 points per flag. That's 24 points for the 6 flags. Plus another 4 points? Let's double check this time, rather than make assumptions. No, it's 5 points for the win here. So 24 with the 5 is 29, and the 3 flags for Men of Rohan will net 12 points. So Civil goes plus 17 here, adding their 16 to the 29. They have 45 points. Men of Rohan only 20 points, and the last game is Territories. Smells Like My Nemesis in here, and that maxes out at 21 points here. So if Men of Rohan can come up big with a commanding win and max out Civil, they still have an opportunity to send Civil to the bottom bracket. Despite losing these first 2 games handily, they're still kind of in it, folks. Albeit they didn't lose body count game that handedly. The margin of point differential is clearly much larger here. They were just playing it safe, but you know what? If they didn't play it safe, maybe they wouldn't be in a position to actually come back in game 3. But we'll see if that happens. We'll see what goes on. Let's get through the individual stats and the team kills and damage here. For Civil Order, they started in the East, and Tilps captaining for them, going 2-1, 11 damage. Stinger 18-9, 130 damage. Fod 18-7, 81 damage. El Destructo 14-10, 82 damage. Ruiner 12-14, 54 damage. Visigoth 9-7, 50 damage. And Mr. Sweetie supporting the mid 2-4 with 5 damage. All around you see good contributions from all the Civil players. Tilps commanding the troops, constantly communicating with his team, not taking a lot of units, letting them do the playing, and he does coordinating. Nicely done there by Civil. They were able to defend all their defensive flags and capture all of their offensive flags. Showing you how it's done, folks, on Desert Flag Rally. Meanwhile, Men of Rohan, they suffered a drop in the middle of the game by Toast. Unfortunate for them, but let's go through their player statistics here. McManus holding on. He was the captain, goes 20-21, 112 damage for him. He held that northwest flag for quite a bit. And battled with Ruiner in the north, cutting a fairly even game. These 2 dwarfs and the Thrall pretty much holding on to this flag for Civil in the end. Meanwhile, Rohan commanding the mid archers, 15 kills, 21 losses, 135 damage. He leads the game in damage. He faced off in Stinger. You can see the difference in the stats there. Rohan with far more losses, unfortunately. He also had some warriors, and of course his team losing the battle mid. But leading the game in damage, well done, bro. Skeletor 7-13. He had the southern flank against El Destructo. El Destructo beating him out there. LD also had some support of one of his teammates. I believe it might have been Tilps himself, or no, rather he had the goals south. Fod went south with the Warriors, so he had the support of Fod. They were able to wrap up Skeletor in the south. Went 7-13, 50 damage. Next up, Bishop 4-14, 11 damage. I believe he had a lot of the melee mid. I'm probably mistaken, but I don't believe so. Monte 6 going 0 and 8, 3 damage. Gandalf 0 and 1 with 1 damage. Unfortunate losses there. And that's going to wrap up game 2, folks. We look over to the kills versus time, damage versus time, and you'll see in the first part of the game, Moore does have a lead, an advantage in kills and damage, but they quickly give that up, and it's smooth sailing for Civil there as they cement a buffer, giving them an advantage at least in one area of the map in terms of abundance of units. They hold on to that lead, score an extra 100 points of damage on their opponents, and that's all she wrote for game 2, folks. We're going into the next game. Moore has 20 points, Civil has 45. Moore's actually down by 25, so I was quite mistaken. I believe the game is out of reach. Surprise, surprise, you stick along to the end and you find out the surprise. Apologies for that, folks. With this defeat and not being able to secure any offensive flags, not able to defend any of their own flags, Moore will be eliminated from the Myth World Cup. They are the first of the bottom bracket teams in round 5 and round 5 elimination to be eliminated. In terms of the bracket, they're placing somewhere between 9 and 12. In terms of points, in terms of overall statistics, they placed 12th in the tournament. Meanwhile, we're going to go into game 3 here. Smells like my nemesis in here territories. I mean, these two orders have a lot of respect for each other, and it's great sparring practice for Civil going forward. Civil will be playing the winner of Sucks at Myth 2 versus Evil Incorporated. We'll have to check out how that goes down, as I believe there is or was some sort of rivalry between Civil and Evil Inc., as many of their players constantly phasing off in the finals of tournaments, whether it was 1v1s, 2v2s, free-for-alls, team tournaments. Going into the tournament, BMF is voted the most first place votes, Civil second, and Evil Incorporated third. So I mean, my bet is that they will end up playing against Evil Incorporated, but perhaps Sucks at Myth 2 will prove to everyone that Evil Incorporated should in fact hold that title, and they will overcome the odds in that game and match. But we'll have to see, folks. Anyway, this is Par 73 wrapping up game 2. Stellar play by Civil. They secure the game and the match. Walk away with plus 17 on this one. Next up, we got Smells Like My Nemesis in here territories. Stay tuned, folks. And GG.